Pope Francis has passed away, and now everything feels a little off. The Pope who quietly carried out a lot of activities is now gone. The cardinals are probably trying to figure out what to do next, and the rest of us are just left watching. It's not every day the church loses someone who knew how to make waves without making a sound. Right now, the cameras are flashing, people are sad, and world leaders are busy putting together speeches about how much they respected him. But let's be honest, Francis wasn't just a nice old pope. He had a way of influencing politics, and now that he's gone, things are about to get a whole lot louder. So what happens now? The bells are ringing in Rome, and there are already rumors flying. Was it just old age, or is there more to the story than what we're hearing? Whatever it is, one thing's for sure. Pope Francis didn't leave behind a simple legacy. He left behind a lot of questions, and now we all have to figure them out. Jorge Mario Bergoglio, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, was born on December 17, 1936, in a working class of Buenos Aires called Flores. His parents, Mario and Regina, had come over from Italy and were raising 5 kids in a small apartment. Jorge was the oldest. His dad worked for the railroad as an accountant, and his mom stayed home to run the house. Things were pretty tight, but they made it work. And that kind of simple, no-frills life stuck with him. He went to a Catholic school run by the Salesians, and later he got a diploma in chemical technology. Still, he felt a pull towards the church more than anything else. So in March 1958, he joined a seminary, and not long after, he became a Jesuit. He officially became a priest in 1969. After that, he spent a little time in Spain studying more theology, and came back to Argentina. In 1980, he got put in charge of the Jesuits in Argentina. He worked on improving the way they taught and started speaking up more about social problems. Then in 1992, he became a bishop, and by 1998, he was the Archbishop of Buenos Aires. What really made people pay attention was how he lived a simple lifestyle. Most people respected that a lot. In February 2001, Pope John Paul II made Bergoglio a cardinal, which gave him more of a say in the Catholic Church. Then in early 2013, when Pope Benedict stepped down, the cardinals got together to choose a new pope. On March 13th, they picked Bergoglio. Right away, that made headlines. First Jesuit pope, first one from the Americas, and the first one from the southern half of the planet. He picked the name Francis after St. Francis of Assisi, which showed he cared about poor people, simple living, and caring for the earth. Instead of moving into the big papal apartment, Francis chose to stay at Casa Santa Marta, which is just a simple guest house. Humble, if you ask me. That choice pretty much said he didn't care about material things. Right from the start, he made it clear he cared more about people than titles or fancy traditions. Pope Francis usually kept things casual. He opened up church meetings to those who weren't priests and gave women more space to help with decisions. Over time, this made people see the Pope as less of a distant figure. He stayed out of party politics, but still caused big debates through simple moral talks and quiet diplomacy. In his September 25, 2015 speech to the United Nations, he called out a selfish and boundless thirst for power and material prosperity as the cause of poverty and harm to our planet, tying care for nature to how we treat people. He told the Security Council to think about lives ruined by, from Ukraine to South Sudan, and reminded everyone that the poorest are those who suffer most when wars and pollution hit hard. Do you remember how his 2018 chats with Germany's Angela Merkel helped keep Germany's promise to welcome refugees even when crowds were against it? He also quietly offered to help sort out Venezuela's mess and dropped personal notes to Saudi and Iranian leaders to cool down the fight in Yemen, proof that he works best behind the scenes. He teamed up with Egypt's top imam in 2016 to write out the document of human fraternity, laying out a plan for faiths to stand together against hate, an idea later used in peace moves in Jordan and Morocco. When Francis visited Chile in 2018, he flat out called the claims against Bishop Juan Barros lies. A while later, though, he said he hadn't been told the truth and apologized to the victims. That flip didn't go over well. People were angry, protests broke out across the country, and in the end, every bishop in Chile offered to resign. It was one of those moments where it felt like the church had totally lost control. Then came all the heat around the LGBTQ. Between 2023 and 2024, Francis had quiet meetings with LGBTQ advocates through GLAAD. He said laws against gay people were wrong and even gave the okay for priests to bless same-sex couples in some cases. But what did that actually mean? Was it a real step forward or just a PR move? People were split on it. Some felt hopeful. Others just got more confused. This kicked up a storm, especially in Africa and more conservative spots. Bishops there told priests not to do it, saying it went against church teachings. Francis tried to explain himself, saying everyone deserves equal rights, which they do. Even priests didn't know what they were supposed to do anymore. Some Catholics called him too political. A few bishops in the US even pushed back in public, which doesn't happen often. Isn't it wild that the Pope says something and whole parts of the church basically says, "Nah, we're good"? On Easter Monday, April 21st, 2025, around 7:35 in the morning, Cardinal Kevin Farrell told everyone that Pope Francis had passed away after having a stroke that led to heart failure. It happened at Casa Santa Marta, and the Vatican's doctors confirmed it not long after. Right after the news broke, people started searching his name like crazy. He became the most searched topic on Google that hour. Social media blew up as well. By April 23rd, his body had been taken to St. Peter's Basilica so people could come pay their respects. Thousands stood in line under those big columns, mostly quiet, holding flowers or leaving handwritten notes. The Vatican streamed the whole thing, so folks who couldn't make it in person could still watch. During the 9-day mourning period called the Novendial, they shut down Vatican tours and the Sistine Chapel. And if you were trying to get a hotel room in Rome during that time, forget it. Everywhere was full, especially since it happened during the Jubilee year, when the city's already packed with visitors. On April 26 at 10 a.m., Cardinal Giovanni Battista re-led the funeral mass in St. Peter's Square. Around 200,000 people, that's 5 zeros, showed up for it. That crowd included Cheeto Man, President Trump, former President Biden, and a bunch of leaders from other countries. People in cities like Manila, Buenos Aires, and Nairobi also held prayer gatherings, and some of those were streamed live. Amazing how an event like this can bring so many people together at once. After the final prayers, they buried Pope Francis at the Basilica of St. Mary Major, which is what he wanted instead of the usual burial spot under St. Peter's. Now, there's a lot of talk about what's next. Over half the cardinals who will be picking the next pope were chosen during Francis's time, so there's a chance they'll want someone kind of similar. But some of the more old-school cardinals are already saying they want a change in doctrines, so people are guessing all over the world about who might be chosen. Even though people have started thinking about who might be picked next, a lot of the talk stayed on Francis himself. Everyone keeps talking about how he had his calm way of handling issues. Even though he's gone, people aren't done talking about him. It's not about being perfect. It's more about trying to do good where you are. And I think that's why his message stuck with so many. Let's all take a page out of Pope Francis's book and take care of each other and ourselves.